Church say amen. Amen. Just praise to God who's ahead of my life, to the pastor, to the preacher and brothers. We stand just to say that all I've been through, I still have joy. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, once again I come just to ask you just to empty me out right now, Heavenly Father, and fill me up with your Spirit right now, Lord. I ask you just to remove me, Heavenly Father, that you will be shown right now, Lord. I ask you to fill my cup up right now, Lord, and let it run over with the Spirit right now. Then I ask you just to not let your word go out on the deaf ear, that someone come running saying, what must I do to be saved right now? In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Amen. You have the Bibles, you actually go to familiar ground. We're going to go to Daniel, the 6th chapter, the 22nd and the 23rd verse. And it reads, my God hath sent the angels, and hath shut up the lion's mouth. They have not hurt me, for such as much as before him innocence was found in me. And also before thee, King, I have done no hurt. Then was the king exceedingly glad from him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no matter of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. And just for a moment, we want to use when you know your God. Now, we look at our text today. When you know your God. When you know your God, it makes life a little easier. It really doesn't take the problems away from you, because the songwriter said that this journey will not be easy. So we're going to have to go through something in life, because if we go through nothing, how could you stand and say you know your God? If you're always doing things on your own, you have this thing that we got called flesh, that no matter how good you are, you're going to say, look what I did. If you came out on your own, you're going to say, it wasn't that hard. But when you know your God, it seems like when you go through things, you come out a little different. You never go in and come out the same way, because you know your God. See, a lot of times we look at things like it's just a problem, but knowing your God, problems doesn't seem to affect you like they used to. Because I'm gonna use myself, because I don't want to talk about nobody, because I know there's some people in here that they got it together. I'm not gonna say I got it together yet. So when I do something wrong, and I know I have no business being there, because I know my God, I suffer for it. So it's like when you go through something, and when you come out on top, then you should feel good to say, you know what, my God did this. The only reason I'm here is because of my God. If I didn't know my God, I couldn't stand here and tell you about what my God has done for me. Because life sometimes will get you in a situation where you'll have to question God. And I don't feel that you should feel bad about questioning God. I think that right there should let you know that you have some type of relationship with your God, to even ask God, why am I going through what I go through? But then that's when Paul come and help you out a little bit and tell you in that verse where he say that my grace is sufficient enough for you. Because you know your God. Now, if you call up Job and ask Job about his God, Job was a righteous man. Job was a good man. Job lost everything that he had, not because of what he did, but because he knew his God. The only reason that the devil had the opportunity to say, well, you see Job over there, he doing everything right. Yeah. If you give me an opportunity to get at him, I can make him curse you, God. Yeah. But because he knew his God, it wasn't nothing about what Job did, or all the cattle that he had, or the children that he had, or everything that he lost. It was just because of the fact that he knew his God. It wasn't because Job was purposely chosen because he had done something wrong last week. We got that bad that just because we did something wrong, you was going to go through what you're going through anyhow. It was already designed for you to go through just to tell somebody about your God. That's all Job was put in the Bible for to me. He was put and designed to show somebody about his God. Because the Bible never told anything bad about Job. Never spoke bad about Job. The only thing that we knew that went bad was Job lost everything. Now, okay, we're going to break it down. We already know when we lose everything, we get frustrated. We get frustrated. But when you know your God, Losing everything is already in your mind that I'm being set up to get a little bit more than what I already have. So because I know my God, I guess I don't mind losing everything, starting all over again, because I know the new stuff got to be better than the old stuff. So Job went through just to tell somebody, not about a new God, but about his God, because he knew his God. That's why he had no problem going through it. That's why God had already, you know what, go ahead. Go ahead. I don't mind you going down there messing with Job. Matter of fact, you can do anything you want to do to him, but kill him. And sometimes we have to put ourselves in a Job experience. Sometimes you should be willing to say, for God I live and for God I die. Only because you know your God. So Job didn't mind going through what he went through. Even his wife had the audacity to ask him, well, look, if we going through all of this, why don't you just go ahead and curse your God? Job told her, you sound like a foolish woman. Because how good are us? You can't use proper language all the time. Are us not to go through something? And the same God that brought us when we had something, we not good, not us, not good enough to go through something for our God. The only thing that I love about Job, he just knew without a doubt in his mind, my God. Now we're going to leave Job alone. How about the three Hebrew boys? Went into a situation knowing their God. See, it's something about when you step into something knowing your God instead of going into something thinking about God. See, I learned when you go in there thinking about God, yeah, he gonna think about you. Did you catch that? When you go in thinking about what God can do for you, he gonna come in thinking about bringing you out. But when you go in your situation knowing that your God go, see, it's different about knowing what God can do for you and thinking what God can do for you. I think God gonna bring me out. So God gonna say, I'm gonna think about bringing you out. But when you go into the situation, something talking bold like this to somebody that has the power to take your life, when you go in and tell somebody that tells the guards to turn the fire up a little hotter, since they know they God. Let's get it a little warmer, since they know they God. And when you bold to say, if it be so, our God whom we serve. See, that's not saying, I think the God that we serve can. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. And look at this. And he will. See, it's a different than I guess he will. Now that we ain't got here. How about you? Is you sure? And he will deliver us out of our hands, that old king. See, it's different when you start talking like that. It's not the same. You're not the same individual when you can tell somebody, look, I know you got me in the corner. And my back is against the wall. But I know my God. So if it's so that even if I do have to stop and die right here, I'm satisfied to know that the only reason you took me out of the game is because my God allowed you to take me out of this situation. It's not nothing that you done to me to stop me from going. It's because my God has decided, well, you fought a good fight. You finished your course. So now I'm going to allow you to come on. You know what? Just let him think he got the victory because you out of the game. But as long as you know in your own mind that the only reason I'm here, the only reason I'm in this situation is because I know my God. But if it's not be so, then I want to let you know one thing, old king, that the God that I serve, if I will never worship an image. I'll never bow down to what you want me to bow down to. Just because I know my God. See, you got to have that type of, I call, uncaring faith. You don't care about your situation because you know your God. Now we talk about Daniel for a minute. See, I had to set you up for Daniel. I couldn't just go straight into Daniel because I would have lost it. Because I had looked at this whole little, our message came from the 22nd and the 23rd. But I'm telling you, when you read the whole 6th chapter about Daniel, Daniel had that I don't care faith. You understand what I'm saying? Daniel knew in the 23rd verse what was coming up because he had already proclaimed it in the 10th verse. See, the 10th verse says something like this. When Daniel knew, he didn't guess. When Daniel knew that the writing was signed. So that means the king had already made the decree. That means the king had already said, look, this is how the situation is going to go whether you like it or not. And if you got a problem with what I said, don't let nobody come back and tell me. Don't let me find out that you don't like what the decree I said. And see, Daniel knew already. It said when Daniel knew that the writing was signed. This is what I like about Daniel. This is why I couldn't hurry up and get to Daniel. See, Daniel did something like this, that I don't care faith. Daniel knew his window was open. See, you got to look at that part. We get caught up in him getting into the lion's den. Yeah, that was a good work of God, but you got to look at how Daniel set himself up. He went into this situation knowing his God. See, Daniel went in, he went into his house. And the windows began to open. In his chamber towards Jerusalem. See, he didn't go in there and say, look, y'all, I'm down on my knees. He went in there and all he did was get down on his knees. And when he got down on his knees, he made sure that the window was open. And when he got down on it, they said he did it 3 times a day. And he prayed. And he gave thanks before his God. See, he knew something that obviously the king couldn't recognize yet. He knew a living and true God. So he went down on his knees. And they said he did it a 4th time. Just because he happened to look out the window. And he seen some people assembling around his window. So I'm just like Daniel. If you know anything about Sean, if you want to show, I'll give you one. So Daniel decided, since they want to see me, know my God, why not let them see what's going on in the house? So what he did was he looked towards Jerusalem. He got down on his knees. And once he got down there, he started saying something like, thank you, Master, and thank you, Son. Because he knew on the outside of the window, somebody needed to know his God. So he decided to make sure I got to pray for somebody. If I was there, I'm pretty sure Daniel went and said, let me open the windows a little wider. Just so they can see me to go back and tell the king about his decree. When you got that I don't care type of faith, tell the king that yes, I'm still on my knees. Tell the king that yes, I'm still praying to my God. If you don't mind, go tell him I said thank you. And I'm not just doing it 1 time in a day. Not even twice in a day. I'm doing it 3 times and I'm facing Jerusalem. So this is how Daniel set himself up for the lion's den. He decided that if he gonna make a decree, if I'm gonna make sure somebody know what's going on, why not do it with a loud type of voice? So I'm feeling in my mind that when Daniel got down on his knees and he faced towards Jerusalem, he didn't just say, thank you, master and sir. I had a mindset that he said he's been good. I think that's what got everybody outside roused up. Who he's talking about is what they want to know. So now we got to keep going down a little bit farther. When you set yourself up for a blessing, when you walk into your situation knowing your God, look what type of stuff that your enemies do. Now that the boy been put into the den, look what the king did. They said he couldn't sleep all night. They said he had to get somebody to play some type of music to put him down to go to sleep. But see, in verse 14 is where I got happy. It says something like this, then the king, he hurried up the next morning. How about that? I don't know if you heard that part. They said that the king hurried up the next morning. He didn't hurry up to get to the breakfast table. He didn't hurry up to go see what his wife was doing. They said he ran to the den. He had to go check on Daniel. I don't know about y'all, but that's how I feel. I love when God tells me the truth and say, I will make your enemies your steps-stool. Now Daniel had no choice but to call out to the king. He said, Daniel, Daniel. That's what he said right here in verse 14. Daniel, Daniel. And he said it with a loud type of voice. He called him from the front. He was too scared to go get Daniel. He looked in the den and saw Daniel laying with the lions. Daniel had the nerves to talk about his God and say, no hurt has been done to me. I was asleep when I heard that you was tossing and turning. I was asleep when you was worried about me. Verse 14 he said, I gotta go check on Daniel. That wasn't God, that was the king. Saying I gotta go check on that. God, wake up y'all, because we got to go in there and see what Daniel's doing. When he found out Daniel came out all right. Verse 22 says something like this. The king came exceedingly happy that Daniel came outside of the den. All I want to ask somebody today is, do you know your God? I know my God in all types of shapes. I know him in the power of his resurrection. I know him for being a way maker for me. I know him for being a healer in my life. I know him for finding my way in and my way out. Y'all excuse me for a minute. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to tell you something about my God. My God came down to save a wretch like me. My God put bread on my table. My God put food when I was hungry. My God put clothes on my back. My God put shoes on my feet. My God told me that every time you open your eyes, that you have a hard time, I wipe the tears from your eyes. I'm telling you about a living God. I'm not telling you And it should feel good to tell somebody about your God. He's so good, y'all. Not to tell somebody. If it's just one person. About your God. Because when you know him,